Am I the idiot for taking back my grandmother's heirloom veil and not letting my future daughter-in-law wear it? So I really need an unbiased opinion and can't get one in my real life. I have 2 children, Caleb, 29, and Anna, 24. They have always been close up until this issue. Anna was bullied in middle and high school by Violet, 25. We did go to the school multiple times as well as talk to Violet's dad, and to put it bluntly, I could see where she got it from. The bullying affected Anna's self-esteem, social relationships, and their senior year Violet slept with Anna's boyfriend, which devastated her. Long story short, Caleb got a very impressive job opportunity he just couldn't turn down, but it meant working for Violet's dad. We all encouraged him to take it, but were blindsided when he later revealed he was dating Violet. They've now been together for 2.5 years and the wedding is coming up. I am absolutely not happy about this and Caleb is aware. Violet has apologized to Anna, and Anna is willing to be civil with her for things like holidays. Caleb is very defensive if the bullying is brought up, and says Violet experienced a great deal of trauma as a teenager, and we need to be forgiving. Now the issue at hand is the veil. My grandmother had a vintage designer veil, a very unique pattern, and I had previously said Caleb and Anna could both use it for their weddings if they wanted to. My wife, with no prior discussion, gave it to Violet, who loved it. She is really into vintage fashion and even specifically picked a dress to complement it. Anna recently expressed that it was hurtful to her. She didn't want Violet to have a family heirloom, and it felt too much like erasing history. I immediately understood and told Caleb and Violet that she could not wear it. I said when I told Caleb he could use it, I obviously couldn't anticipate the girl he was going to bring home. Violet gave it back to me, but Caleb blew up and uninvited me from the wedding. Now my wife is angry at Anna and says I need to give it back to Violet. She said Caleb has never truly seemed happy before, true, and that if I was a good dad I would at least like Violet for making him happy. She said I'm coddling Anna, favoring her over Caleb, and she threatened to steal the veil and sneak it to the wedding. The reply. First reply. Not the idiot. Your wife sounds like not the most pleasant person, sorry. You're not favoring Anna, you're trying to protect her from having to relive her trauma every day. High school bullying has lasting impacts. Your son may be happy now, but he can't expect other people to prioritize his happiness after he started dating someone who severely traumatized his sister. He made his choice, it has consequences. Anna sounds very mature and grown up about the situation, and I commend you for raising her so well. Please keep standing up for your daughter, I'm sure it means the world to her. Your son is asking everyone to give Violet a break because she had a traumatic childhood. But he isn't willing to give the same to Anna. She had a traumatic childhood, too, because of Violet. As for the veil, it's your family heirloom to do with as you wish, not your wife's. I hope she reads the responses and sees how utterly childish she is. But I doubt she will change. Hopefully she doesn't further traumatize Anna with her actions. Hide the veil. Second reply. Not the idiot. First, your wife shouldn't be giving your heirlooms without much of a talk with you, regardless. Second, I totally understand. Considering your account of events, Anna is hurting a lot. Your wife, however, perhaps should be reminded that she is also Anna's mother at the end of the day. As for Caleb, I wouldn't date my siblings' bully in a million years. Not even if they got coveted in gold. Even without going the other people do it, why couldn't Violet root when it comes to the trauma-caused bullying? Trauma doesn't exempt you from consequences. My mom got sick when I was a teen and I went off the wall. Barely graduated high school, and frankly, they should have failed me but knew I was itching for a reason to drop out, and my year already had a crazy dropout rate. I had to bust my ass in community college once I got my shit together before getting my life fully on track and going to a 4-year because nowhere was going to let me in with a graduating semester GPA of 1. The "mommy was sick and I was sad" admissions essay paired well with my community college transcripts, but a redemption story requires proof of growth before it works. If Op described Violet as, say, volunteering her time as an anti-bullying advocate to give her perspective as the villain, and why what she did wasn't okay, or sitting down and having a frank discussion with Anna on Anna's terms, if that's something she wants. Rather than an apology, I'd maybe feel different. Hell, from the info we have, she doesn't even want the veil as a symbol of acceptance into the family. It's pretty. We don't know. Violet could have used the last 5 years to completely turn her life around, and the fact that she gave the veil back says something, assuming she didn't know wife wasn't the rightful owner and it was behind OP's back. Anna not idiot, op not idiot. Caleb idiot, wife idiot, and enabling idiot, airy Violet giant idiot in high school, leaning toward idiot now but not quite enough info to know for sure. Am I the idiot for banning my niece from my grandmother's funeral after what she did at my mother's funeral? My grandmother just passed away. We're in the middle of planning her funeral, and I really only have one request. One particular person, we'll call her Shannon, needs to be banned from it. This sounds bad, but hear me out. Shannon is my sister's stepdaughter. When Shannon was 12, her mother passed away a little under 2 months before my and my sister's mother. Shannon's father couldn't allow her to go to her mother's funeral because our own mother was severely ill. They had 2 very young kids, so they would have had to allow her to fly cross-country alone and then risk a kidnapping from the extended relatives. She was obviously very hurt by this, and their solution to that was to, unbeknownst to anyone else, make her think that my mother's funeral was about her own mother as well. At my mother's funeral, we were blindsided by pictures of not only my mother but also my niece's mother as well. They'd also gotten a hold of the urn, and had that prominently on display. They basically turned it into a joint funeral, and my niece played it up 100%. She acted like she was the primary mourner, and gave a full 5-minute eulogy to just her mother. It was ridiculously inappropriate and turned what should have been a nice memorial into a drama-filled sideshow. My mother and Shannon's mother had never met, so we had to tell the full story of my sister's husband's first marriage when it should have been just about my mother's life. I'm not willing to risk any of that again for my grandmother's funeral, so I want her banned. Yes, it was wrong of the adults to enable it to happen. But she had to have known better. I could even forgive it if she had ever in the last 10 years apologized at all, but she defends it and acts like she deserved to do it because her father and stepmom, my sister, didn't let her go to her mother's funeral. Yes, it's not good that they didn't, but unfortunately, things happen and it doesn't give you a free pass to just do whatever you want to do. Word has spread, and relatives that aren't even my sister and her husband are mad at me over this. They think I need to just let it go and I can't just ban family from a funeral, especially over something they did over a decade ago. Am I really that wrong to still be angry over this? Reply: 100% your sister and her husband are the idiot, and definitely you are the idiot. I'm sorry that while you were grieving, your lazy sister and her husband didn't help their traumatized daughter grieve properly for her own mother.
I understand that this interfered with your grief and is a very negative memory. But it's not the 12-year-old's fault at all.
I seriously doubt it was her idea to make your mom's funeral, her mother's memorial service. That was her father's/stepmother's doing. I'm honestly shocked that nobody took her to say goodbye to her dying mother or to the funeral where she could have celebrated her mother's life. Then, her cheap *** stepmother and father were too lazy/in-PT to host a ceremony for her mother in her state after not letting her attend her mom's funeral. How hard would that have been? Instead, they decided to have a joint funeral without consulting you. Yeah, I get you being angry. Your mom died and you wanted to grieve her and celebrate her life, just like your niece wanted to do for her own mother. Yet you seem to have no empathy for, and your sister and her husband ruined it for you. Ban your sister, not your niece. Grow up and have some empathy for a child who, unlike you, didn't get to say goodbye to her mother in person and be there while she was dying. Second reply: wow, you are the idiot. Everybody except Shannon is a massive idiot, honestly. Also, I'm wondering if your sister arranged it and paid extra for that? Funeral home staff are used to dealing with difficult grief and emotionally laden conflict situations. Also, they get paid for their services and use of that space. If it wasn't arranged ahead of time, I would guess the funeral home staff would have gently intervened and not let people essentially steal their services. Your sister and her husband are massive idiots. Him for not prioritizing his child going to her own mother's funeral, and both for setting this up at your mother's funeral instead of setting up another service for her mom. You are a huge massive idiot because you are calling a child's grieving behavior at a service the child was told was for their mother was playing it up, and a drama-filled sideshow. In regards to her own mother's funeral, she was the primary mourner for her mother. It's honestly sick that you ignore the fact that adults, your sister and her husband, set this up and told her that and put her in that situation, and you have no compassion at all and blame a 12-year-old for grieving and doing what she was told essentially. You're scared it's going to randomly happen again 10 years later? It makes no sense that you think there would be a random repeat when the circumstances are totally different. Your niece is an adult, and I would assume your sister won't be lying to her again and setting her up again. You are a massive idiot. Am I the idiot for not stepping up and offering help to my mom after she laid all her eggs in the wrong basket? Title seems like I'm bitter, and a part of me is because of the fact that I told her so. I'm now 34F and middle child to a single Asian mother. I have an older brother who is a decade older, and for his whole life, my mom has babied him. I was expected to contribute to the household when I graduated college at 21F, but he didn't have to at 31 because he was still in school at community college. She gave him gas money, let him take her car, sleep in, not cook, have me do his laundry, etc. I moved out over 10 years ago, and have always kept her at a distance. Due to issues, I don't want my brother in my life or my family's life. I have made that clear with my mother that I will let her have a relationship with my kid, but she is not allowed near him, vice versa. She would get upset at me for hanging up when she showed my kid to my brother on my FaceTime, when I find out that she took my kid to her house to play with my brother and post pictures all over Facebook. I told her no more, and that I asked nicely a few times and you ruined it by not respecting me. Constant years of this in disregard to me and my boundaries. Onto the issue, my mom was living with him for a few years now. She still kept cooking for him and everything, and he was working somewhat and paying his portion of the rent. Well, now he moved out and she is left room surfing with friends and family. She came to my house and cried to me that I don't call her to update her on my life or my family, that she now doesn't live with him and is room surfing. I just replied and asked her point blank, what happened to my brother? She got upset and cried and left. She didn't plan retirement at all. In fact, when I was a teen, I was told that I was to be her retirement and she would be moving in with me. Which I said no, and worked my ass off so I can leave ASAP. See, I would have taken care of my mom had she not disrespected me all these years to the point I am LC with her. I keep in contact here and there for my kid. I feel bad because she is my mom, but at the same time it's not like all this wasn't foreseen. I was stressing for years saying this would happen, and here we are. I refuse to help her financially because her son can, and will not allow her to move in because my mental health comes first. Soon I will get family members who have been helping her with room and board, reach out to me. I don't feel like an idiot for not wanting to help her because this is the result of all those years of mistreatment, but I do feel like an idiot because she's my mom? I need unbiased opinions. Thank you. Replies. Not the idiot. It sounds like you set healthy boundaries and just need some reassurance since she's your mom. Is this okay? It absolutely is. She's an adult and needs to figure out her own life. Keep on with what you're doing. You're not the idiot for maintaining your own life and mental health. Second reply. Not the idiot. The worship of male children in Asia is terrible, and in that sense and by the way she treated you, you don't owe her anything and her son does. She's also crossed your boundaries, and to that extent, I can see an argument that you owe your child protection from her. Again, if you help her, she will prioritize the brother over you even now. But you might have to aggressively start a whole campaign about reminding people of her favoritism towards your brother and pointing out his status and earning which make him capable of taking care of her. Stuff like, "Mom loved my brother so much. I know she will be happiest with him. He's doing so well. I know he can take care of her best." Please keep pointing out his failure to step up, or else you'll be the villain in the extended family despite everything you've been through. I'm not going to lie, I do still feel bad for your mom, but she really made her own bed here. Edit. Thank you for your replies. I've read all of them and thank you for validating that I am not an idiot. I do see some people asking about my younger sibling. She left the family a decade ago due to my mother's treatment of her. I was out of the house and on my own, while she was not. She chooses not to communicate with any of us, and I'm fine with that, as I know she has resentment for me due to how my mom always compared her to me, which is not fair. Her mental health is important, and what she needs to do for that is fine. She communicates with other family though, and wants nothing to do with my mom. We are Chinese, and yes, by Chinese tradition, it's the male's job to take care of the mother anyway while the girl goes off with her husband's family. My family knows who he is, as he has lied to them about money, worked for them at their businesses but rolls up late and leaves work early, uses their stuff and breaks it without a care, etc. My mom tries to tell him, but he just tells her that's he a grown man and can do what he wants. All of this isn't a surprise to the family, but it for some reason is to my mom. Oh, and yes, she works, still does. She does nails and did not pay into a retirement account. This is why I'm conflicted and might just offer some money to help. We'll see. Thinking hard no right now. Think of it as my payment to keep her out of my house, but it could open the door for more stuff because she'll push, and this is seen to me as giving in somewhat. Am I the idiot for making my boyfriend eat fast food for a week? My boyfriend grew up in a house that valued outdated gender norms. The women were always responsible for cooking and cleaning, so he didn't learn how to do any of that for most of his life. That is, until he moved in with me after college. He's been good about a few things. He doesn't mind helping with dishes or handling the laundry, but the one thing I can't seem to get him to do is learn how to cook. The only thing he can do is microwave frozen meals. I've been trying to teach him the basics, but it seems like it goes through one ear and just comes out the other. He still can't turn on the oven or use the stove without help. The toaster is too complicated for him to use, he claims. Doesn't know how to boil eggs, cook rice, or even how to measure out ingredients using cups. I just don't understand why he can't grasp this, but is fine with other things. Here's the part where I may be an idiot. I went on a trip 2 weeks ago for work. I'm in charge of buying groceries, we have separate accounts, and I realized how expensive his frozen meals actually are. $3 to $4 for each. I said screw it and bought the easiest ingredients I could find for a lot cheaper for him to cook on his own. He doesn't like leftovers, so me cooking ahead for him was out. Before I left, I sat him down once again and gave him a very long lesson on using the oven, toaster, and stove, as well as how to boil/scramble eggs, toast a piece of toast, boil rice/noodles, and heat up pasta sauce. I also taught him how to pan fry things like onions and other veggies, and how to tell when they were ready. In case he didn't want to cook both lunch and dinner, I also bought things to make salads and fixings for sandwiches. I come back a week later, and he is angry. He claims I practically left him to starve, and how I know he has trouble cooking. I retaliate, saying I showed him what to do, and I get a whole range of excuses. Setting the oven/stove temp is too complicated. He cut his finger chopping onions and couldn't chop any until his cut healed. He only likes the salad kits, so everything is balanced. Apparently he only ate sandwiches, canned goods, and fast food for a week. He thinks I'm a major idiot for not telling him I'm not buying his frozen meals, and leaving him alone to fend for himself. On one hand, I do think it was shitty of me not to tell him I didn't buy his meals, and as someone who grew up in a home pretty much only boiled hot dogs and veggies, and only properly learned how to cook after moving out, I do feel for him. But at the same time, after a few months of not getting the simplest concepts, I'm left feeling partially justified in my actions. So Reddit, am I the idiot? The reply. The replies. Not the idiot. You should search, weaponized incompetence. He is not unable to complete these tasks. He is hoping you'll get tired of asking him to improve himself and become a 50s housewife for him. It was not shitty of you not to buy frozen meals for him. Is he also incapable of shopping? He managed to leave the house to buy fast food. Or did he have that delivered? This man is not mature enough for a relationship. He wants you to be his mother. Not the idiot. Weaponized incompetence is a real thing. Can't use a toaster? Can't boil an egg or noodles? Get a life, mate. He needs to grow up and stop being such a child. If he wants frozen meals, let him buy them out of his own money. Edit to add to this is your future. What is he going to be like if you two decide to have kids? I'll bet changing a nappy is just going to be way too hard. Or prepping a bottle. If that's how you choose to feed. You both need to sit down and have an adult conversation because this is ridiculous. Am I the idiot for leaving everything in a trust fund for my kids only? So long story short, I am 49, was with F, 46. Until she had an affair with one of our close friends. We have 2 child together, F, 19, and F, 17. I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer and had to go into treatment. Due to this my business didn't do well as I couldn't give it 100%. So according to the ex I could not provide the lifestyle she wanted, so she left me for someone she met online. Divorce was a pain in the ass and I had to buy her out of my share of the business. The cancer passed and I survived and doing well, so I went back into my business with a strong head and a new lease of life. Business is booming and I am making a good income which I use to support my kids. Due to the cancer scare I have created a trust fund in which only can be accessed by my kids in the event of my demise. I have met someone and she has a daughter 16 years old and 14-year-old son with the dad still in the picture who also makes a decent amount of money. We are married and keep finances separate. The new wife is pissed off that my stepkids won't get anything as their siblings. My bio kids will get everything I own and will be financially better off than their siblings in the long run. She is angry that I have not left her as the executor of the state and for her to manage my estate if I were to pass away. I told her that she has her own fiancés and my stepkid's dad is still in the picture, and will he be leaving anything for my kids if he dies? She got defensive and has not spoken to me in days. Friends are saying I am an idiot and should have compromised and left something for the stepkids as they are now my family as well. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.